Welcome to Coach Business. I'm here today as your coach and as a business coach and as a host of this amazing podcast. And we have one of all of the listeners' favorite things happening today, which is live coaching. I see you. I see you out there. I'm watching which episodes get the most listens, and these are definitely it. So, Kristen, thank you for being here, for volunteering, for being willing to make the invisible visible for everybody listening.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to be here. And
Yeah.
funny thing is, it's through these podcasts and through you coaching people and making the invisible visible that I actually found you.
Right?
So, yeah.
You're proving my point here.
Yeah. There's a
So,
lot of points that you've made that I can prove. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Oh, good. Well, feel free to share all of those today. That'd be nice. But can you
Sure.
introduce yourself to everyone and let them know who you help so that they have that in their
Yeah.
bonds?
Yep. So my name is Kristen, and I coach neurodivergent people, but primarily adults with ADHD, and I help them to learn about themselves and be able to craft a life that's friendly to their brain, to their bodies. And I also help support leaders. So if they're neurodivergent, all the better.
Yeah. Amazing. Cool. Okay. So why don't you tell us where you want to start today? And we can go all over the place. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, likely I will have a bias towards that. So feel free, total permission to rein me in and put up the bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
But so I am feeling like a newborn colt in a way with where my business is at. I've been in business for a year and a half now. And primarily in working with you since June, my business has really just it's been like greased lightning. I mean, it's just really taken off.
Keep in mind, folks, it's July 30th. So we're talking 2
Yeah.
months. Okay, good.
Yeah. So, so in being given permission to trust myself, which I feel is a real core component of what you support in the world, I have, not surprisingly, started straddling kind of these two worlds. And the two worlds being individual coaching, primarily on Zoom. My body's revolting. And then opportunities to be in community and be in person, to be in groups of people or with working with teams and helping, basically taking the work on that small scale and bringing it in a larger scale for change for groups of people.
So what you would do one-on-one, you're now doing in group containers.
Pretty much. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's more of a focus like corporate maybe, or organizations where there's leaders or people who, organizations where there's people in some level of leadership,
mm-hmm.
or a space where they need to be able to be clear on who they are and the impact they want to have. So they may not be formally a leader, but they may lead smaller groups or teams or projects, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So. Okay. And you trained with CTI, Coaches Training Institute, which really has a leadership coaching angle. So this is a natural, I would think, kind of progression of your learning and where maybe you're called to go anyway.
Yes, I have a background in leadership too. So I have a graduate degree in leading mission-driven organizations, and I spent 5 years in healthcare leadership. And classic ADHD, that wasn't stimulating enough, and I got bored. So I thought it'd be a good idea to work in a hospital and an ICU and COVID. So, meaning that I like the different levels of variety and stimulation like that, things that I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do something I'm not interested in.
Right, which can be a rule for you. I say no if it sounds boring.
Yes.
And I get to say yes if it sounds interesting.
That's the new thinking. Yes, I get to say yes. Can you say that again?
I get to say yes if it sounds interesting, intriguing, enticing, whatever you feel that sense of, I'm leaning into that. Because the one thing that we can do is we can have jobs we don't like, and then we go build businesses that mirror them. And all of a sudden we don't like our business. And so the thing for all of us to watch out for, and for you, because you've already said, that was too boring for me, is to make sure that you boring proof your business by saying, I get to do what's interesting. Sometimes, even if I don't understand financially how it's going to work. Yes, she's nodding for everyone who's listening.
I am nodding yes. And what's coming up, the thought that came up for me right now is I'm also noticing that a hallmark is sort of popping up as I'm stretching into a little bit more of that team space, because it's a bit of a stretch. It's been a while since I've been in that space. I don't have a level of confidence yet with that. Mm-hmm. And so I noticed the sort of saboteur type stuff, like unhelpful thoughts or limiting beliefs that pop up for a brief period of time.
Yeah. That makes sense, right? So like you said, I'm the colt. I feel like, so you've got the long legs that will run someday, but you're in that little bit of a wobbly phase.
Yeah.
So is it wobbly because I'm new here? Is it wobbly because I'm not in the right spot? Is it some other kind of wobble?
So I think it's because it's some saboteur stuff, frankly. I find myself on some of the simplest tasks. So I'm creating a proposal right now for an organization, and I have written the proposal already, but I'm in Canva for way
I
too
almost
long.
wish Canva didn't exist sometimes.
Yeah. So, or some other space where I'm trying to perfect it. So I'm doing that thing. Mm-hmm. And then time is going by. And I feel like, keep going, Kristen, you'll just end up sabotaging this opportunity.
Right. Okay. So sometimes saboteurs come up because it seems like we need a little protection. Mm. Any of that in here?
Any need for protection? That's your question? Let me think. Hold on. Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. It's like, so I know this organization also works with another coach, and he's trained wholly different than I am. Very traditional. And I noticed this, like, part of my big motivation of why I do what I do is because I want to help people to be themselves, to know themselves and be themselves in the world, because that's what I believe the world needs.
Yeah.
And I notice these little whispers of, well, you're too weird, or fill in the blank, you're too whatever, too much. You don't fit in with their culture. Isn't accurate.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's how
because I can also be a chameleon really well. But I noticed that that's sort of like a flavor of what's sort of percolating around. Is this like, you're too much, you won't fit in, other people are more qualified. But then I know, how can you quantify that? Like, you can, I guess, a little bit, but really,
right. We know it's
a bar I keep chasing.
Yeah, because it's not specific, it's not being direct, it's not being clear. It's just throwing out things that are meant to like cut you down at the knees a little bit.
Yeah.
Because what I hear you saying is, it's my job to know myself and to be myself, because that's what the world needs from me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when we get what we need from you, it's because you've given it to yourself first.
Spot on. And that's how I'm getting clients.
Right.
It's because I've been given the permission now that I've learned from working with you to, no, be authentic, just be yourself and relax and have a conversation with people. So I can do that.
Yeah. But when you get quiet and alone and contained and isolated with our own thoughts, it gets really easy to listen to thoughts that aren't the truth, things that
Yes.
saboteur might say. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's especially like, let's normalize the fact that it's a very easy door for a saboteur to enter through when we're doing something new.
Yes.
Right. Or when we're doing something where comparison can come right up, like with this person who does it very differently from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't seem like it had much root.
No, because I feel like if someone went to a different coach than me, it's not necessarily because I'm some awful coach. It's just that we get the clients that generally that we mesh with.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they didn't pick me, honestly, I'm okay. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the painful part right now.
Right. Yeah. You coming up against yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So here you are. You have this business where you're coaching on Zoom, potentially too much Zoom, and you do stuff in groups too. And you find both to be rewarding and interesting. So you're saying yes to both. So what else do we need here?
I feel like I'd like to have like a level of good juju, or I just was looking at this little sticky that I wrote next to my values, and it says, this is sort of like a value, is I want to be in my agency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want to bring in, more of that kind of an energy, and not sitting there typing and doing stuff and creating something, and on my back is this little troll. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So being in Canva and perfecting, that wasn't you and your agency.
No.
You hammering out the details and just shooting off an email, that would be more you and your agency.
Yeah. And frankly, I could get that done in an hour.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe less.
Right. Which is that, with ADHD, the more time you are working to conform to be different than who you are, the less energy you have to give to the things that actually matter or be who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't, I guess as an outsider, I'd say we hope you don't spend your energy there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like from a company culture standpoint, you have this invitation to do everything from the place of know myself, know yourself, be myself, be yourself. And that's what the world needs from me. And that's what the world needs from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's your rubric or your filter question or your company culture statement or mission. Like it's all in there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
So yeah, so practicing what I preach,
Yeah.
living in alignment with something of what I value, what I feel is that guiding tenet of
Yeah.
how I want to be and how I want to invite others to be as well.
Right. How you're here to lead. Which is calling you, what is this phrase? Calling you to the carpet, it's calling you into the ring, because to choose to live in alignment is disruptive.
Oh.
Alignment sounds nice, but it's really disruptive to say, I'm going to show up as me and only me for the sake of me and you all the time forever. Amen. Like,
Yeah,
we're going to disrupt some stuff if we do that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Funny thing happened. I shared a few weeks ago, I was doing some work with our school or going through a class. And so I was supporting in the very background, and they'd go into a breakout room. And this person had said to me, he said, okay, before we start coaching each other, I just have to let you know, I really appreciate how you just don't care how you show up.
And you're like,
He said,
compliment
don't
or
take
slap in the
offense to
face?
that. Yeah. Actually, it wasn't until she said, don't take that as an insult, that I even considered that as any kind of an insult. In fact, I was like, oh, they see me. And not that I'm acting as if I don't care. I wasn't reckless, but apparently there was some way that I'm being just as I am now. So there was some way that I was being that for her, the message was disruptive, that's counter.
Yeah. Right. And I think what you are saying is, I want to be counter. I need to be counter. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Because the
and
world
not for the sake
built.
of being counter.
Right.
Unless it's something that needs to be countered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you say, I want to do life and business in a way that's friendly for our brains.
Yeah.
It's not friendly for your brain to fit into culture that doesn't fit. So you're going to show up and people are going to know, hey, she's doing this differently than me or them or someone. Are you ready to stand out all the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's scary. And yes.
Yeah. You're a walking billboard that the lights never go out on.
Hopefully it's not one of those missing, please call.
What do you want your billboard to say?
Good coaching question. I'm thinking of all the billboards going down. I live in Atlanta, from Atlanta down to Florida, that are really pretty out there. So I want my billboard to say, I liked what I heard you say back to me, which was like, I'm myself, not so you can be yourself, but and I want you to be yourself.
So your billboard could say, I'll go first.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah. Okay. I want to check in on something.
Okay.
Zoom isn't working for your body. Tell me what's happening, because I know that there's a lot of coaches listening and a lot of coaches who use Zoom every day.
Neck pain, shoulder, upper trip, up like back pain, which I'm helping by doing some stuff. And I'm bored out of my tree. I'll find myself having to work to stay with a client.
Okay. Because it's having
a lot.
Yeah.
I'm off somewhere.
Yeah. I want to just say, like, none of us have to use Zoom, because Zoom exists, because lots of coaches use Zoom. We don't need to use Zoom. In my practice, say, if we're not in a group, or you're in this country with me where we can use a phone, we use a phone. I don't like to use Zoom for one-on-one coaching. It's okay not to.
I was just thinking about, I've been going back into my app that allows me to have appointments and schedule them. And I've been going in repeatedly because I'll come up against something where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I need to go back in. And anytime I do this type of coaching, it needs to be only on my admin day. So if they forget, I didn't take space away from them. So I'm having to go in all the time. I'm thinking right now, like,
yeah,
oh, I want to, when in that spot where you can elect how you will meet or what their options will be, I would like to make that more of maybe an option.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe like a bias, but, and honestly, a lot of neurodivergent people, when given the option, when knowing they can have that chance to not be distracted by the video or sitting all the time, choose to talk on the phone.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can go walking and coach at the same time. I think it's really helpful for people to be in motion sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And this is your business you're building. You do get to decide how things work. And you could say, I coach on the phone. Unless I'm running a group Zoom meeting, we coach on the phone.
I love that.
Yeah. We didn't all go to Zoom until like, what was it? It was before the pandemic. It's been a while, but I think it's a really good reminder that it's not really natural. Like all the people who work in offices are like, oh, you work for yourself. You have all this freedom. You can do what you want. And then here we all are planting ourselves in front of video cameras all day long. We don't have to do it like this.
Yeah.
Make sure it works for you.
There are so many opportunities I'm finding to remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I don't have to do it that way. I get to do it the way I want to do it.
Right. Right. So you have to remember to ask yourself great questions at every turn because you're creating at every turn. Okay. What else is in there? Did we get to the things that we're here for? Is there any hanging agenda items?
I think so. Honestly, I'm feeling right now like I want to make sure I put on my list of things that I'm working on tomorrow that I'm going to spend an hour, or I'm going to block off actually 30 minutes. Like, I sit there with the timer next to me, and I've gotten kind of out of the habit of using it because I've adapted my way of being in my schedule. I even adapted it even more, where at first I was exercising and then I was doing work, but now I've actually found that I wake up, I take a cold shower, 30 seconds, and then I'm able to do work for like 4 hours uninterrupted without the hyper-focused hangover that I might get sometimes.
Cool.
And then I exercise in the middle of the day. So I bring that up to say I had come out of habit of using the timer, but the time pressure that would give me, it would make me do something I don't really want to be doing so much, which is not dancing in the land of messing around on Canva and trying to perfect something, which is actually masquerading as stories that aren't helpful and they're not true. Yeah.
So you are going to tomorrow set a timer for how long and then have that contract emailed out?
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to set it for 30 minutes. And then if I need to work on it a little bit more, then I'll set it again for another 15, 20, 30 minutes. And I'll keep doing that until it's done. But I anticipate it'll be done within an hour. Yeah. And then I'll be able to send it out tomorrow.
Great. Okay. Using your tools.
Using my tools for myself.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So you feel a little bit more sturdy on your 4 new legs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. You're doing it. I mean, I think when we start new things and we start getting into momentum like you have, like more opportunity comes, and it's just really that dance of like, is it for me? Is it not for me? And following what feels interesting is the way to keep the momentum going. Even though it can feel a little squirrely, it's the fun way.
Yes. Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah.
I just started networking in a group of people where I feel like, these are my people.
Oh, fun. And
so I'm going to another event tomorrow, and they've offered for me to be working with them and their board. Like there's all these opportunities that are coming up, as you mentioned, and they feel good to me because I feel like I'm around people and supporting people and being supported by people who we all care about some of the same things.
Awesome. Yep, that'll amplify.
So it feels like time well spent, and not feeling like the outsider a lot.
Yeah. 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 It's nice when you can go somewhere and 1 + 1 = greater than 2. The more of those you can have inside your business, the better things go.
Good.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing it here and for sharing where you are and how it's all rolling out. Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity. This has been so helpful on so many levels.
Awesome.
This could be weird listening to this podcast that I listen to all the time, and now hearing myself.
And then you're on it.
And then I'm on it.
I know. It's fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that coaching was such a great example of someone who is here on a mission, remembering that even when we're in business and there's all the different business gyrations we can do and marketing or tactics or tools we can use, the heart of the mission still prevails as the lighthouse of our work. So I think for all of us today, what I hope is that you check back into why you got here in the first place. Notice, this is why I started all of this. This was the feeling I wrote in on. This was the belief I came here to promote. And get out there and do it and stay in touch with it and nurture your relationship to the reason that you're here. Because the reason that you're here is what we need from you. It's part of what makes the world do what it's supposed to do next. We need this. We need you in it with us. Okay? So thank you, Kristen, for being here and for sharing and for going first. And thank you to the rest of you for doing the same thing in exactly your way. All right. Share this episode with a friend if you think they need it. And don't forget to rate and review, because it's like giving the podcast a high five. And I feel like today it needs a high five.